Honorable Chief Minister Rajasthan and Chairperson of this conference, Srimati Vasundhara Ji Raje, Honorable Home Minister Rajasthan, Shri Gulab Chand Ji Kataria, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, University of Police, Security and Criminal Justice, Retired Army Chief, Honorable General Malik, distinguished delegates, media friends, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me a pleasure to deliver the inaugural address of this International Counter-Terrorism Conference. It is also heartwarming that the India Foundation and Sardar Patel University of Police, Security and Criminal Justice are organizing this conference. Today, when much of the world is trying to grapple with the menace of terrorism, this conference being held to deliberate on ways and means to counter terrorism is a welcome initiative. A galaxy of counter-terrorism experts from several countries are gathered here. The timing of this conference is apt since the world is witnessing an entirely new paradigm of terrorism in the form of the Islamic State. Never in the history of mankind has a terror outfit controlled such a large geographical area, generated such huge funds, and has been immune to world public opinion regarding its atrocities on innocent people. Friends, the appeal of ISIS to young, educated people, in spite of its medieval ideology, is a cause for concern to the global community. I hope this conference analyzes this phenomenon and suggests policy prescriptions. Terror outfits like ISIS do not believe in a plural society and are extremely intolerant of a liberal and a secular democratic order. They do not accept the fundamental fact that diversity of faith and philosophy reflects the inherent beauty of human beings. These terrorists unleash the world's worst forms of violence to urge the diversity and destabilize the democratic order. Mass killings of people of other faiths and mass insolvent of women by the ISIS and Boko Haram, who belong to this category of terrorism, are frequent occurrences these days. In their endeavor to shape a future for mankind according to their dangerous dreams, they do not even spare the past. They vandalize the secular heritage of mankind left in the form of art and craft. Destruction of Bamiyan Buddha by Taliban in Afghanistan and the pre-Islamic relics of the ISIS in Syria, and making a big spectacle of such destruction by posting their videos on inherent reflect their utter depravity. These terrorists are adept at using the latest technology to propagate their beliefs and deeds. They extensively use modern technology to reach out to wider audience with susceptible minds. Their online propaganda is causing online self-radicalization among youths. It is a matter of serious concern that they are seeding the minds of innocents with poisonous provocation and inspiring them to be brutally intolerant and violent with others. However, at the same time, I am happy to note that the influence of Islamic State on the Indian youth is negligible. According to our intelligence agencies, just a handful of Indian youth have joined the ISIS. Some have also returned after being persuaded by their family members. The failure of ISIS to attract Indian Muslims, who constitute the second largest Muslim population in the world, is due to their complete integration into the national mainstream. Indian Muslims are patriots and are not swayed by the fundamentalist ideologies. Extremism is alien to their nature. Moreover, India as a country is proud of all its diversity. I am happy to note that India has the second largest population of Muslims in the world after Indonesia. India is home to all 72 firqas of Muslims, and it houses one of the oldest churches known to mankind in the world. We have been practicing the philosophy of peaceful coexistence for centuries. We also need to be concerned over the increasing possibility and opportunity to use available technology and cyberspace in the destructive manner. The computing power of your smartphone is greater than all the computing effort deployed to put a man on the moon in 1969. The menace of terrorism is greatly amplified in today's digital world. An incident in one corner of the globe can instantly spark a reaction thousands of miles away. And where a lone wolf or a do-it-yourself DIY terrorism can go online and learn how to carry out an attack without ever leaving home. We have recently constituted an expert committee to look into the possible avenues of the cybercrime and its linkages with the terrorist world. The source of most terrorist activity in India lies across our borders. It is unfortunate that even after paying such a heavy cost for itself, Pakistan and its associates find it difficult to understand that there were no good terrorists and bad terrorists. Differentiating terrorists into good and bad categories has failed miserably. If the ISI and the Pakistan Army stops its support to certain terror outfits, I hasten in saying that the security situation in South Asia will improve significantly. I sincerely believe that the Pakistan should seriously rethink its strategy of using terrorism as an instrument of proxy war. And it would be in her own national interest, as I think. India has been a victim of cross-border terrorism for the last several decades. Terrorist organizations like Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, etc., patronized by those across the border, have inflicted several acts of terror on the Indian soil. There are several instances of such proxies being used in other parts of the world. Terrorism knows no boundaries and doesn't respect nations' sovereignties. They have become transnational in character. They use modern technology to propagate their ideology and perpetrate violence. They are exploring new frontiers to inflict terror, such as cyber terrorism and the use of chemical, biological, and radioactive nuclear devices. Since terrorist outfits do not recognize national boundaries and acts of terror are executed often through networks spread over several countries, there is no alternative to forging international cooperation to effectively counter it. Such cooperations are required in the field of intelligence sharing to preempt terrorist threats. International cooperations are also imperative among the law enforcement agencies of different countries for post-event investigations to bring the terrorists to justice. International cooperation is also needed to build popular opinion and pressurize the countries that use terrorists as their strategic assets. I understand that this conference is also discussing issues related to India's internal security, like the left-wing extremism, insurgency, and border management. I will keenly await your recommendations on these issues so that I get a non-governmental perspective for policy formulation. This brings me to the next issue of the role of the think tanks and the non-governmental organizations in positively influencing policies of the government. It is my opinion that the government should benefit from as many stands of opinions as possible to formulate policies. The inputs of security experts and think tanks at present have little or no influence in policy formulation in India. I want this to change. I feel that the government should benefit from our expertise and knowledge. Also, the think tanks have an important role in developing a strategic culture in India by aiding informed discourse on national security issues. Hence, I once again welcome this initiative of the Rajasthan government, India Foundation, with the Rajasthan government in partnership with the India Foundation, I think. Isn't it? Very good. Finally, I am given to understand that one whole day is devoted to discussions on the global terrorism. This is important since the lines of local terrorism and global terrorism are getting blurred. In many ways, international terrorism today is the unintended outcome of the process of globalization. Hence, all countries should be aware of the developments in this area, which is bound to affect them in some way sooner or later. Also, this brings me back to my earlier point that all nations should be on the same page to tackle terrorism, and there can't be any discrimination in this regard. With these words, I wish this conference all successes. Thank you very much.